Citi News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Akusia Ochre.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes, government begins settling first coupons for bonds affected by the domestic debt exchange program, doling out some 2.4 billion cedis. Also coming out, PURC upwardly adjusts tariffs for electricity by some 4.22%. and water by 1.18%. What are the implications of this on your household expenditure? Still on Eyewitness News, government withholds August salary of striking CTAC members, even though the National Labour Commission ordered government to implement the arbitral award on their conditions of service. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Government charged to make adequate provisions for principal payments of bonds affected by domestic debt exchange program.
There is more in business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. In the Western region, we are on Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. In the Bono region, we are live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we are on Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Nkawi. In the Volta region, we are on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakope. In the Northern region, we are on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Tsaboba, Quality 88.7 FM in Garu in the Upper East region, Nobia FM 98.1 FM in Nalerugu in the Northeast region. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on Twitter at Salom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is Citi Newsroom. Akusia has our first story.
The government, through the Ministry of Finance, has begun processes of settling the first coupon payment of bonds affected by the domestic debts exchange program. According to the ministry, the matured coupons amount to 2.4 billion cedis, of which instructions have already been sent for settlement. There were initial market uncertainties about the settlement for the 5% coupon payment agreed for the bonds under the debt restructuring. But the ministry, in making the announcement, stated that this settlement is consistent with the government's commitment to the continued success and credibility of the country's domestic debt operations. It went on to say that the new bonds now stand as the dominant instruments on the domestic bond market.
All right, let's hit the phone lines and speak to Dr. John Kuma, who is Deputy Finance Minister of Ghana, to help us really appreciate what this means for the domestic debt exchange program and matters arising. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What does this payment or settling of the coupons mean for the confidence of the economy and the DDEP in general?
Yes, thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. This is the confirmation of government's commitment to the continued success and credibility of the domestic debt operations that government undertook in the early part of the year. It's a good signaling, and it assures the market of confidence, and the government will continue to keep it to its obligations as far as the debt operations and restructuring is concerned.
I see. So when do we expect that the whole payment will be concluded? Because I get a feeling that you are now initiating the payment, or is it a case that payment has begun?
Well, all the due coupons have been paid. So unless the undue coupons which have not been paid, but I can confirm that every due coupon on all the domestic bond holders, those who took part in the exchange, I can confirm that they have been completely paid out.
I see. So, when did they fall due? When exactly did they fall due, and when was the payment concluded?
22nd. Today, it was mostly fall due on 22nd of August, which is today. And all the participants can confirm, all the holders of the new bonds can confirm that they have received their coupon payment.
I see. So that's some 2.4 billion cedis you have paid to the coupon, to the bond holders.
Exactly.
So when next will we have the coupons maturing, or the those with the bonds maturing?
It's paid biannually. So in the next 6 months, that is when it will be due again.
I see. So now this is the bonds currently we are trading on the market. What happens to those who did not take part in the domestic debt exchange program? Of course, they had a choice to either join or not. But in recent times, they've expressed some difficulties with the payment of their coupons. What is the situation with them?
I think they have also been fully paid. Of course, there were delays because government had announced the challenges at the time, but eventually they've all been settled.
What was the case with the pension bondholders also? I mean, those who were picketing at the finance ministry.
No, all those ones have been paid already.
Because the concern was that, of course, they will picket and then you pay them. After a while, you will not pay them again. They will come back and picket, or they will threaten and then you pay them. So the concern really is that government wasn't committed to honoring its obligations. Is it a case that in this new bonds, of course, this is the first time, so you will need to do it for them to have some confidence in the system. But what assurance can you give us that when the next coupon, falls due, you will pay without any delay, or you pay without any issues?
Well, let me assure you and to assure all the bondholders that government is committed to its obligations, and as soon as all coupons or bonds are falling due, government will respect its obligations.
I see. Thank you so much, John Kumar, for speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. So the news is that government is paid the first coupon for bonds affected by the domestic debt exchange program, and government in all services has paid some 2.4 billion cedis to the domestic, to the bond holders. And these are people with eligible bonds who exchanged their old bonds for newer ones, which means that they took lower interest rates or lower rates and then also extended their tenure. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosa gives us more stories.
Let's still stay on matters relating to money, because the Ghana Railway Workers Union is demanding the payment of their 3-month salary arrears, as well as the over 1 year unpaid SNIT and 2-tier contributions. Addressing a press conference in Takoradi, General Secretary of the Workers Union, Godwin Ntama, said life has become so difficult for railway workers.
Arrest, we had in 3 months, August ending before. Yesterday we had a meeting with the Chief Director of the Ministry of Railways. Some effort are being done, but the fact is that as for a worker, it's only when the money is in his hands that he will consider that it's done. So we are hoping to get it. We are expecting it from now up to Friday. According to the Chief Director, he's working from 2 months to the 3 months, depending on how much he's going to get from yesterday to either today or tomorrow. So that is what we are waiting for. You see, railway workers, we fight when we are ready. We don't rush and fight. That is why, since this leadership took over, we have had time to engage. Where is the need for us to do a press conference or to ginger ourselves? We'll do it. So we won't say we are going to fight by Friday if we don't get it. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it.
Mr. Ntama added that all attempts to meet the president over their difficulties, including running of the railways as a limited liability company, has proven futile.
Ghana Railway Company Limited, a fully owned company of the state of Ghana with no shareholders and a staff strength of over 1,000 workers, is facing serious challenges operating on the existing narrow gauge rail line, which is in a very bad state, coupled with the old and aged rolling stock, resulting in series of derailments every now and then. The above challenges have resulted in serious financial constraints, which easily qualify the company as a highly indebted poor company. As we speak, salaries go into 3 or 4 months arrears before some efforts are made to effect some payment. Again, SNAID payments are in arrears from October 2022 to date, which has compelled SNAID to take GRCL to court to enforce payment.
General Secretary of the Railway Workers Union, Godwin Intama. Now, the Single Man Contractors Association expressed strong dissatisfaction with the Ministry of Roads and Highways for what they consider a complete disregard for their concerns. The association has been persistently requesting payment from the ministry. Members of the group are responsible for tasks such as clearing weeds and unclogging gutters along highways, but they have not been paid since 2019, according to them. Vice President of the Single Man Contractors Association, Samuel Kwesi Botie, revealed in an interview with Citi News that their attempts to reach the sector minister have been unsuccessful.
The following week, I called the engineer, chief engineer, and he told me that he has forwarded that report of the meeting we had with them to the minister. But unfortunately, there's no money. We have been to his office on several occasions without meeting him. So we plan to go to his house. And when we went to his house, we were told he has traveled. And the people there don't know when he will come. In fact, we were not happy with that statement. So we have to wait outside for over 2 hours. And then later, we wrote a note and left it. The next day, we heard he is in the office in the afternoon. We heard he has come to the office when we checked. So I called our organizer to call him and ask him about the meeting we had with the chief director and the other officers. According to the organizer, he called him on several times and the man didn't pick the phone.
The Single Man Contractors also say that most of the contractors have gone into hiding as they are being chased by their creditors.
All our workers are now home. Look at me. This morning when I woke up, the letter I have to share it to the children. They are going to school. And I have been left to my fate. When you called, I was in the room. I've not been able to come out of ASAP now. And look at the corner of my contract has put in this. And our workers are in the house. Some of my colleagues haven't paid their workers and they are still chasing them. Some of us were fortunate. We decided on emptying our accounts to settle all the debt we are owing because we know the money will be paid in short term. And look at us now. And some of the workers too are engaged in this sports betting thing. And look at what they are doing to them, taking tithes. A government which takes tithes from people's earnings.
Samuel Kwesi Botie is the Vice President for the Single Man Contractors Association. Now, the Lands Commission is raising concerns regarding the inadequate working conditions of its staff, particularly the lawyers responsible for representing the Commission in legal matters. The Commission has noted that a heavy caseload coupled with inadequate compensation has resulted in decreased enthusiasm among lawyers. The chairman of the Commission, Alex Quaynor, is calling for urgent solutions to address this matter.
The cases that we have, it's not possible for the Commission to be in court anytime the cases are called. Our staff, our legal staff, very small. It is the only aspect of our work that when we engage lawyers, sometimes they don't even turn up. They don't turn up. They look at the conditions of service and say, no, probably it's better to do only bail work at the court, at the district court. So we don't have enough lawyers. That's as frank as it can be. Those who are with us are overburdened. So we are working to see how we can improve not only the remuneration in terms of conditions of the lawyers alone, but over all the staff of the Commission. Our working conditions are not very good in that regard.
That was Chairman of the Lands Commission, Alex Quaynor.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Some of your messages that have been coming through here. This one says the Deputy Minister of Finance, Mr. Kuma, is not telling the truth. He said, I have not received or I have not been paid my coupon by GCB, which is due today or as at now. Well, the minister says that before being paid. So maybe you want to check again and then let us know how that goes. If you are also in the same soup, we'll be happy to hear from you. I'm sure the ministry is listening, and this is a good platform that they take feedback from. So if you have any such concerns, let us know via our WhatsApp line 0549986996, and we'll be happy to put that across. Good evening, Salam. This is long overdue. After the promise and failed government has finally made some payment, but I will advise the bondholders to check their account before the jubilation. This government is capable of anything, Jones Adoboy Inla says. Aaron Babako Kokomisa in Accra says, good evening to you. I think for us to record less corrupt deals among state enterprises, the government must do everything possible to avoid putting square pegs in round holes and avoid family and friends business attitude and focus on results-oriented professionals that can perform a task within a particular time frame. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. We'll return and deal with the PURC and other matters. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX. ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You all come back. Now, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, has implemented a 4.22% increase in electricity tariffs for all non-lifeline residential customers, affecting the average end user. This decision comes after a review carried out for the third quarter of 2023 by the PURC. Now, according to the Commission, the primary objective behind the tariff adjustment is to ensure that the real value of the cost of providing utility services is upheld. The new tariff structure remains or maintains the existing rates for lifeline customers as well as for industrial customers like hairdressing salons, barbering shops, tailoring, and dressmaking shops. Therefore, these segments of customers will not experience any charges or changes or increments in their electricity tariffs. In terms of water tariffs, the lifeline customers will also benefit from a freeze on tariff adjustments with no increase in their rates. However, for all other categories of water consumers, the PURC has approved a 1.18% increase in their tariffs.
Well, let's hit the phone lines now and then speak to the PURC. Eric Obute is Director of Research and Corporate Affairs of the Commission, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. So we understand really what what this review can be attributed to. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What necessitated this third quarter review?
Thank you very much. And a very good evening to your listeners. The PURC actually considered two main factors. One, to close up the gap between the customers in the residential class as well as customers in the industrial class. The cost of serving those two customers are different, and we want to bridge that gap and make sure that the residential class pays its true cost of serving them, whilst the industrial class also pays the true cost of serving them. Secondly, we also, just as you read, we also want to make sure that we maintain the real value of the tariff so that we don't get into the situation whereby we'll have to increase tariffs arbitrarily to very high proportions, which will be unfathomable to the community. So that's why we're looking at this tariff review, this particular window.
I see. So what is the situation for very poor people who do not use a lot of power or a lot of electricity, if you like, because they are very poor? Is there a way that we are providing some safety net for them, and what is that really?
Yes, those very poor people that you describe are the ones that we consider in the commission to be the lifeliners. That is between 0 and 30 kilowatt hours of consumption. So if you consume between 0 and 30 kilowatt hours, which is like 30 units, that we may say, then you don't experience any tariff adjustment at all. You still pay what you are paying as of now. But once you go beyond that, then you have to pay a 4.2% increment in addition to whatever it is that you are consuming now. And this applies to only residential customers and not the non-residential customers who are the industries that we're considering.
I see. I also realize that you say some customers like hairdressing salons, barbering shops, chop bars, tailoring, and dressmaking people
Yes.
do not also, or will not also experience any change. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
But you know what is the threshold? Because we have very huge hairdressing salons who use a lot of dryers, and we understand dryers consume a lot of power. We have, as part of this group, people who operate cold stores. We have cold stores which are quite huge, consume a lot of power, etc. Why are you exempting them from, or why are they experiencing a 0% change?
The whole idea is to encourage industrialization, is to encourage growth, is to encourage employment. We deem it that electricity must be used productively and not just being used for social events. Yes, electricity can be used for social events, but it is much more beneficial if we use electricity for productive uses or for productive purposes. So the whole idea is to encourage industrialization and to encourage growth. That's the more reason why we are actually doing this reversal. And also, mind you, some of these industries that we talk about, their cost of serving them is much lower than the cost of serving the residential class. For you and I, the residential consumers, ECG or the electric utilities, right down from grid code through to ECG, they have to put in a lot more transformers and a lot more lines before they get to you and I. So they need to step down the electricity up to a point that you and I can use it at home. That's a lot more cost to them. Whereas for the industry, some of them can pick the electricity at high voltages, and it's cheaper serving those people than serving you and I. So why would somebody who is being served at a cheaper cost pay more than somebody who is being served at a much more expensive cost? So we are just trying to reverse this particular trend.
I see. So we're going to be experiencing these adjustments on quarterly basis. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
So should we also expect that when the conditions are better, the review will not always be upward, but we can have a downward review of the rates or prices like we see, in the downstream energy sector?
Precisely so. These four factors which I mentioned earlier on, that's the exchange rate, the inflation, the generation mix between thermal and hydro, and the cost of fuel. Once those four factors change in a positive direction, it will impact positively on the tariffs. Mind you, the last quarter or the previous quarter, second quarter tariff, that we did, electricity prices went up by 18.36%. That was when we were using an average end user exchange rate of 12 cedis, 71 pesos to the dollar. This time around, we are using an average end user exchange rate of 11 cedis, 49 pesos to the dollar. So exchange rate, the Ghanaian cedi has appreciated against the US dollar by 10.6%. So at least that has brought the tariff down. What is the driving factor in this main tariff is the cost of fuel. That's the gas cost. The gas cost has gone up by a whopping 24.6%. And that is what has necessitated the drive up of the electricity tariff by 4.2%. Had it not been for the massive jump in the gas prices, it would not have even occurred that we should have a change in the tariff at all. So yes, the long and short, the answer is that once the tariff, the indicators show a positive direction, it will impact positively on the tariff as well.
I see. I realize that the inflation, you use a projected inflation rate of 10.49%, but we know the general inflation rate to be in excess of 40%. Can you explain to us why you chose to go with a 10.49%?
Okay, I tell you what we have is a quarterly inflation rate that you see over there. The annual inflation rate is what you're talking of, which is in excess of 40%. Yes, it's about 41.9, or now it's about 43% thereabout. So we split that into 4 quarters. So we divide that 40 or 41.97 by 4, and that gives you the 10.6 that you see over there. In the last or the previous adjustment that we did, the inflation rate was about 50.47. So when we split it, you'll get a region of about 12-point-something %. And that's, I think, is a region of 12.6%. So when you take that 12.6% and the current 10.49%, the difference is actually a downward trend of about 2.13%. So inflation has also dropped on a quarterly basis by 2.13%. So that also impacted positively on the tariff.
I see. So it only appears that the PRC just pushes to the consumer what the market forces determine. And given what, I mean, based on what the market forces say, the consumer may have to pay more or less. Is there no cushion, for example, for the consumer? Is there a limit to which the consumer can keep absorbing this? Or there's a way that you work with government to ensure that government absorbs some of these so that the consumer is not overly exposed?
Yes, the commission does not always just push onto the consumer what the market forces dictate. No. Remember, the last time round we did this tariff, the revenue requirement for the utilities, for the electric utilities, was about 1.31 billion cedis. And we pushed through about 870 million at the time, leaving a debt of about 450 million that we carried from the second quarter. Now, even for this third quarter adjustment that we are doing, the commission said, look, we cannot put all the 450 million debt. So let's consider only 40% of that. So 40% of the previous debt is what has been considered in this particular tariff regime. And also, the commission will not just give us any tariff at all to pay. We are mindful of whatever the economic situation is in the country. So the commission would actually go gradually, so at least it pushes the ordinary consumer. That's the more reason why you realize that for the case of the lifeliners, they've not been touched, and for industries as well, they've not been touched. But we need to also make sure that the utilities are financially viable to be able to generate the electricity and to produce the water that we need in our homes and factories. So we obviously have to do something, and it's better to do something now than to wait until we maybe give a quantum leap of about 30% or 40% increase in the tariffs. That would be very high.
I see. The concern generally is, and I'm not sure the PRC has a solution to that. I mean, income levels haven't grown. Here we are experiencing quarterly upward adjustments of utilities. So there is water, and now, I mean, there is power, which means that by the end of the month, household expenditure will increase. When income levels have been increased, of course, PRC may not have anything to do about that. But generally, of course, you also run a household, I guess. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I do have a household and I pay electricity bills just as any other person pays electricity bills. So I feel the pain as well. And on the board of the PURC, we have a rep from the TUC. So all these factors were brought over from the TUC as well, and they've been considered in the coming up of the tariff that the commission came up with. So it's not like the commission just sat and decided that, look, this is what must be paid by consumers. But the board also considered the socio-economic conditions on the ground before coming up with the tariff. Just as you said, the commission does not have anything to do with wage openers or wage increases. So we do not actually play in that domain because that is not part of our jurisdiction. So we do not have anything to do with that one. But the TUC made a forceful case on the board, for which reason we even have a lower tariff as we speak. Had it not been for that, then that means that all the costs, if we just want to consider purely economics and purely finance, then all the costs that we incurred from the previous quarter should have been passed through. And that would obviously have given us a higher tariff than we see.
I see. Thank you so much, Eric Obute, Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the PURC. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Yes. Now let's speak to Adomako Appiah-Kusi, who is the West African Regional Director for CATS International, a consumer protection body, to see what they think about the tariff adjustment. Hello, Mr. Kusi. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What's the general position of CATS International in respect of the announced tariff adjustment?
Good evening, Salom, and your listeners to Citi 97.3 worldwide. I think PURC for the past 7 months has been consistent in increasing tariffs every quarter. And we've been kind of surprised about the action of PURC. Of course, we do understand that utilities companies need money to survive, and the business that they are rendering should be profitable. At the same time, PURC is looking at one side. In the past, whenever the variables were trending towards the side of the consumers, PURC kept quiet and never adjusted the prices downwards because the voices of consumers were not that loud enough to cause PURC to increase the tariffs. And now, I don't know whether PURC is trying to do the bidding of the utility providers by consistently increasing tariffs. Now, of course, the electricity has gone up just about 5%. There are some times whereby even when you look at all the factors together, we should have gotten a reduction by, let's say, 4 or 6%. But PURC said, it is not significant, so let's ignore it. But now that it's 5%, they have gotten the effrontery to increase it. And I think that PURC is not being fair to consumers. And one thing that I would like PURC to do is that, like the way the NPA puts out the data in the public domain, so that at every point, anybody with a calculator will be able to know where the prices are going. Now, consistently, because gas prices have been going up, it is kind of giving them the edge to increase the tariffs every quarter. But when the gas prices start to go down, I'm not sure PURC will consistently be bringing the prices down. And so if PURC is acting as a neutral person between consumers and the power producers, then PURC must be honest to Ghanaians.
But they say that it's not all the debt they incur that they push to us. So, for example, it says this adjustment only took account of 40% of the previous season's debt, which means that there is more debt. So if the situation improves, on the other side, they will have to they will have to pay their debt, if you like. So until we're able to clear the whole debt, I'm not sure we will see downward adjustment, even though on paper, yes, technically we can see a review downwards.
So one thing that I don't agree with PURC is that there has been a lot of commercial losses on the grid line. And to what extent is PURC urging the companies to reduce those commercial losses? PURC has kept quiet, and the consumers are paying for the inefficiencies on the electricity grid line. Lots of people are consuming power; they are not paying. Instead of PURC asking the ECG to go and chase those money, all those bad debts are being pushed onto the few ones who are paying. And I think it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Currently, in fact, the last time that we did the data came, ECG administrative losses was close to about, commercial loss was about 27% or so, and which I think that is very high. It means that if ECG was able to recover 10% of that particular amount, ECG will be able to move from the position that where it is in terms of the debt. So there's more that PURC needs to demand from the utility companies than consumers around this time when the economic conditions are tough for Ghanaian consumers.
I see, but I think we are seeing some little progress or some gradual progress, because the ECG, for example, over the last year or so, has been on some new drive to get people who owe them to pay, and whilst they go around, they deal with issues of power theft, etc., which is part of the leakages I'm sure you spoke about. So it's work in progress. We may not be there yet. It's work in progress, especially as it's the people who steal the power. You can't easily see them. The nature of our communities such that you cannot easily see them. But the point I'm making is they've begun some drive to at least recover some of their losses. Is that not something we should be applauding and urging them to do more rather?
Solomon, when your commercial loss averages around 28% and you manage to reduce it by, let's say, 5%, you have not done much. You still have more to do. And I think that UCG needs to do more. And I implore PURC to direct UCG to do everything within its power. Of course, the law gives them power even to prosecute power theft. And to what extent, when did we hear that a company or an individual has been put before court for stealing electricity power? All these powers, all these, the law, all the statutory backings that have been given to ECG are not being utilized. And until they start doing that, those who are stealing powers will continue to steal. We want to see power thieves being taken to court.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Domako Apiakusi, West African Regional Director for CATS International, a consumer protection agency. They do not really agree with the PURC for its upward adjustment. They think that PURC should tell the ECG and co to be more efficient in how they run those institutions. Commercial losses, etc., must be cut. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. General Otega says, Salam, it's most unfortunate what we are seeing under this government. We were promised heaven and hell is being delivered. BB Nofke says, this so-called lifeline consumers thing does not really benefit the poor. The poor live in compound houses with single meters and therefore rather pay higher. You say it is so bad. Some other messages that you have sent. Prince Henry in Koforia says, this Nana Baumia government thinks they can confuse us by covering up with the increase in tariffs by bringing out the payment of our bonds. He said they lie bad. The hardship under this government is more than what we experienced in 1983. That's Prince Henry in Koforidua. Victor Enyam Aheto in Tamale says, good evening, Salam. The payment is good news for our aged fathers and mothers. May government prioritize them. It is not good to have them out there contending for what is rightly theirs. Jones Adoboinla says, good evening, Salam. Another increment in utility tariffs. What sin have we committed against this government? Our salaries remain the same. Everything is skyrocketing. We take a short break, return, and tell you about what the government is intending to do to the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, who are on strike. Government says that they will not be paid for the month of August. There is more after this break.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes and I bontin father, my sanaba. Ma many papa and you're not of far more fear more acquaintum. Trebiania, so a maniscaco fear and fancy that near fear for a bit for Javisi no parking. A bear man Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how hard to your nature. Sukasa see a damn brony friend affordable luxury homes, or more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, where you're fully gated or grants and communities, or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. Almost our flexible payments, and yeah, I know my dear at Dalcasa, plus 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick one-answer stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susie at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, the low burst line. A little tight by the hips. Covered sleeves. Off shoulder. Definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You all come back. Now, one more person allegedly involved in the stealing of Cecilia Dapa's money at her residence has been granted bail. This brings to 3 the number of people granted bail. 2 were previously granted bail upon consideration that they are lactating mothers. In court on Tuesday, lawyers for the 6th accused person, Job Pomari, applied for bail for him. He is alleged to have acted together with the 5th accused person in the case, Christiana Chab, to purchase a 4-bedroom house at Kokrobiti at a cost of 280,000 Ghana cedis from the former sanitation minister's house. The prosecution said investigating into the involvement of Job Pomari did not oppose the bail application. He was granted bail to the tune of 300,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties to be justified. He is expected to report to the police once every 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the 2 lactating mothers are yet to be released as they have not yet met the bail conditions. Now, the Gomwanyanyano Traditional Council has called on the Ministry of National Security and other investigative bodies to intervene in an impending demolition operation where more than 5,000 houses are at risk of being demolished. The Traditional Council argues that a portion of the estate extending 1,000 feet from the main Kaswa to Nyanyano stretch does not belong to the Century construction, and thus they cannot proceed with the planned demolition. Nana Ayekwe, the Ankobiahene of Gomwanyanyano, expressed the council's determination to utilize all available means to prevent the planned demolition.
Anything within that jurisdiction is not for 21st century, neither is it for Mr. Kofi Asma. 1,000 feet from the road, from the main road, inside to the where his deed starts, is not for him. Nananum planted a tree there, which signifies that that area is for, as we speak now, that tree that they planted is still at the place where his deed starts from. So 1,000 feet from the road all the way inside is not for him. So all those places he has earmarked for demolition is neither here or there. It's not for him. Unless they tell me he's a thief. Yes, because something that does not belong to you and you go in for it, then it means you are still in it. So it's not for him. It's not part of the deeds that we made with him. So anything that does not belong to you and you, whichever means you want to take it, it means you are stealing. So that place is not for him and nobody. So we are appealing to the police administration and regional minister, the regional lands commission, and the district assembly to call him to order that demolition cannot take place. And if he does, it's going to bring chaos and confusion to the area.
Nana Ayikwe is Ankobiahene of Gumwanyanyano in the central region. Now, residents of the Ashanti region have shown appreciation for Asantehene Otumfuo 82's resolution actions in destooling chiefs found guilty of inappropriate conduct. Over the past 2 weeks, Asantehene has taken the significant step of destooling 3 chiefs, including those from the Abodom, Eduamwa, and most recently, the chief of Abontam. The destoolment of the Abontam chief has received positive feedback from a diverse group of Ashanti region inhabitants who are commending Asantehene for his proactive measures. Some residents spoke to Citi News.
I think if Otumfuo has investigated and haven't come out that what they are doing is not right, especially with the Galamsey issue. Some of the chiefs are conniving with the people who are involved in the Galamsey, destroying water and so forth, which is not good for the community. So if these are some of the things that some of the chiefs are involved in, I think Otumfuo is right.
But I think what Otumfuo did is in the right direction. I mean, I want him 100,000%. They don't. I mean, how can they do that? It doesn't make sense. I mean, water is life. Man must eat before he survives. And then these very things, you are supposed to be a custodian and you are conniving with crooks, as it were, and telling them. You have no business being a chief there. So I support him.
He has the authority over all those chiefs. So whatever he does, I mean, I think it's the right thing he's doing. I mean, that was setting a precedent for the other chiefs not to do what they've been doing.
Those were some residents of the Ashanti region. Now, a new Patriotic Party presidential aspirant, Joe Gate, has been actively seeking the support of special delegates in the Savannah region ahead of the NPP Special Delegates Congress scheduled for August 26. The Congress aims to choose 5 out of 10 presidential aspirants to contest the main flag bearership election in November. With a track record including his role as an Attorney General during the President Kufuor administration, Joe Gate accentuated his long-standing dedication to the party since 1992, asserting his suitability for the delegates' votes.
The party needs somebody who understands the party. I'm not running as an independent candidate. I'm running as a refugee candidate. So the party needs somebody who has the party DNA in him. And I told them that from 1992, I've been part of the party. I was part of the group of 5 who wrote the Stony Verdict after the 1992 election. And that group was headed by our current president, President Kufuor. The other members were Alex Kwenu, Philip Addison, and my wife, Ifo Gati, and myself. 2009, when we were changing the constitution to open it up, I chaired that session at large. And between that, I've been a member and chairman of several committees of the party. And so I believe that the time has come that the party needs somebody who has the party's DNA in him to be a leader of the party. What does our party stand for? We talk about freedom, we talk about development. A party needs somebody who believes in the private sector, business-oriented person. I don't believe in the state becoming large and creating jobs for people. I believe in the state creating a noble environment for people to be able to create their own businesses.
Now, speaking about his qualification, Joe Gate further says his experience in governance puts him in a better position to transform Ghana.
I told them that I have experience in governance as well. I've been Attorney General. Kufuor's Attorney General, President Kufuor used Attorney General in every sector. As Attorney General, there was no sector that did not come to my attention. From sports, when they came to 2008, to oil and gas, to minerals and mining, when we were trying to expand the aluminium fields, to agriculture. Everything passed in front of the Attorney General. And as a result of that unique opportunity, I got a better ISB of government. And I also had the opportunity to serve as a minister within the railway sector. And I showed them what I did as a minister. The fact that the railway line has reached Pakadan, which is about 90% complete.
Once the railway line has reached Ipakata, then you can have hope in Savannah that we can come by water to the upper Okupe and continue the railway line to the north. I have the experience of the party. The party is in me and I'm in the party.
You heard the flag bearer aspirant of the new patriotic party, Joe Gatti.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, the government, through the education minister, has directed that striking CTAG members, the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, they are the persons who teach in the training colleges, etc. They've been on strike since the beginning of the month. Now, the ministry is saying that they will not be paid for the month of August 2023. They've issued a statement, not a statement per se. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, through the direction of the minister, has written to the Controller and Accountant General asking that there should be no validation and payment of salaries of the CTAG members for the month of August. My colleague Sami Yafe joins me in the studio to bring us up to speed with what has been happening in that sector. Sami, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Salom. Good evening.
Yes, so CTAG has been on strike. We thought that the National Labour Commission, thought that the strike was legal and all of that, and National Labour Commission directed government to make the payment to the people in terms of what the arbitral award was. So why are we here? Why is government now saying that they will not pay these teachers, the striking teachers?
Okay, remember CTAG on the 1st of August this year declared a strike demanding the payment of some allowances, which they said they agree with government on this particular allowance somewhere like 2021, 2022. And so government was expected to pay them these particular allowances. The matter went to the National Labour Commission. The National Labour Commission ruled that the strike was illegal and even directed government to make payment. At the last meeting, which was held a week ago, the National Labour Commission and its Executive Secretary, Mr. Samoa Ofosu, announced that government should make do with its payment as far as this particular agreement they reached with CTAG is concerned for their condition of service. This particular payment was not made or has not been made. So this morning, a letter, as you mentioned, was directed to the Controller Accountant General suspending the August salary of CTAG members. Already, CTAG members have declared that they are not shaken or they are unfazed if government should take a decision to freeze this particular salary of theirs, because for them, they are demanding what they feel is right, what they are entitled to, something they agree with the government on. And so if government should take a decision to freeze their salary, they will continue to be on strike until, according to them, government does what they feel is right. So to them, this is not surprising. They expected. Remember 2 weeks ago when you spoke to the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, it was a recommendation or an advice for if government may want to consider that particular move and see if CTAG members will call off the strike. But it looks like they are still adamant, standing where they are, and this particular decision taken by government. Maybe there's expectation that if government goes ahead with this freeze of salary, CTAG members will come back to the classroom.
But I thought the National Labour Commission agreed that government was a defaulting party.
Yeah.
Government rather defaulted. Yeah. And so that occasioned the strike. Government said they had given direction for payments to be made, but it was not made early enough for it to reflect in their July salaries. And so the Labour Commission was of the view that government defaulted. So if government defaulted and so they instructed government to do what was right, why should they sit for government to now withhold the salaries for August of these same striking teachers?
A meeting was called this afternoon between governments, which is the Education Ministry, the Ghana CTAG, and the National Labour Commission. The information we picked up is that CTAG members did not show up for this particular meeting. According to them, the notice came a bit too late, and so they couldn't come for this meeting. So the meeting was held between the National Labour Commission and government. What we are picking is that government, or the National Labour Commission, is advising government to make do with the agreement they reached with CTAG members, so at least there will be peace within the labour front.
And to suspend this non-validation and non-payment of salary thing.
If government should agree to pay these agreed allowances and the condition of service they reached with CTAG, there may be a consideration for this particular letter.
Because this letter was written, or at least it's dated yesterday, and the meeting is today.
The meeting was called today. So the meeting was called after this particular letter was written by the Education Ministry.
I see. We'll see how it pans out. Thanks so much, Sami Yafe, for helping us appreciate the matters. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Some of your messages that have come through. Doncel from Koforidua said the only institution mandated by law to declare an industrial action illegal is the National Labour Commission. So the question is, has NLC declared CITAG strike illegal? If not, how can the complainant unilaterally declare the strike illegal and go ahead to freeze the salary of CITAG members? In fact, NLC told CITAG to call off the strike only when it is satisfied with how government intends to implement the arbitral award it has awarded. We hope organized labor takes steps as soon as possible. The lawlessness must stop in this country, you say. Otuo in Abeka says, as for PURC, the least said about them, the better. All they know is increasing tariffs, but so bad in regulating the utility companies. They only take good salaries, you say. Eyewitness News, 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a break. Come back with Citi Business News on Glory.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akosia Oche. Coming up, economist Courage Buti says government's payment of the first matured coupons on new bonds following the implementation of the domestic debt exchange program gives some confidence in the capital market. The coupon payment for these affected bonds was agreed upon at 5%, a rate lower than that of the previous bonds. Initial market uncertainties had arisen regarding the government's ability to meet the 5% coupon payment, but the Ministry of Finance has alleviated these concerns. The Finance Ministry's statement mentioned that a coupon payment aligns with the government's commitment to maintaining the success and credibility of the nation's domestic debt operations. Courage Buti commended this payment as a positive step, urging the government to maintain consistency in this regard.
Investors in general will be looking towards reassessing their holding of GOG bonds in terms of what value they place on it. And in terms of confidence also, probably those in two minds as to whether government will be able to honor its obligations, the reason they are holding back. This may not be sufficient reason, but probably a first step towards reassessing that stance. And for the ongoing alternative exchanges, the cocoa bill, the dollar bond, and then the pension fund, if there are people in two minds as to whether that will change anything, probably this gives them an indication that the exchange bonds could be more regular and obligations could be honored. Yeah, so it's a first necessary step, but we don't have to jump ahead of ourselves. We have to look at the February coupon and probably the ones to follow, and how smoothly those ones go to determine whether probably government has turned the tides and probably are back current on the obligation.
Economist Courage Buti also advised government to make adequate preparations for principal payments, which will be due subsequently.
We have to work our ways around becoming regular, and we have shifted the principal payment to start from 2027 because we do not have the cash to pay now. And so the hope between now, beyond paying even coupons, is that how is government preparing through the sinking fund and the other means possible to, in 2027, pay the sizable coupons that will be maturing at the time or be falling due at the time from 2027 through to 2028 and going. So that is where probably the next concern is money to become current and regular on paying coupons. Then the attention shifts to 2027. How is government preparing towards honoring those principal obligations? Because they are sizable and they will be huge from 2027 and 2028 before probably easing off slightly from 2029 going. So yeah, that is where the next concern will be.
Courage Buti is an economist. Now, the Domestic Task Force of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has taken into custody 2 managers of electrical retail shops for alleged violations. The managers, reportedly from Home Base Electrical and Lighting in Achimota and New Lucky Electricals in Agboba, are being accused of not issuing VAT invoices to customers, which is a direct breach of tax regulations. The ongoing operation to ensure VAT compliance has not only contributed to increasing domestic revenue, but has also motivated the GRA to intensify its actions with the aim of meeting its annual goals. Let's hear excerpts of what transpired today between the GRA task force and the shop managers.
The issue is not about whether the system is being audited. It is still calculated on the total value that is there. Okay. When we give you the dispensation, we have a format. Okay. That the invoice or the receipt issue must conform to. Okay. So it's not about whether when there's audit you pay everything. It's about having the element of VAT on the receipts that we issue to us. You understand? Sure. And this is a pure infraction on the 41, section 41 of the BPR. Yes. So whatever you have by way of defense, you put it into writing when the CRD takes it. You understand?
You heard excerpts of an engagement between some task force of the GRA and some detained shop owners. Now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, has emphasized the need for stakeholders in the business space to forge partnerships aimed at creating synergies to spur economic growth in the country. This, the Investment Center explains, will improve efforts aimed at attracting more sustainable foreign direct investment into the country and the African continent. Speaking at the second CEO Summit here in Accra, CEO of Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, encouraged businesses to leverage on the availability of natural resources to establish strong business partnerships.
The opportunity still does exist. And that opportunity does exist is manifested in the fact that almost every developed country in the world now wants to have an Africa partnership because they recognize the importance of Africa as a destination for foreign direct investment, but also as the next big consumer market in the world because of our population and our growth, but also the most endowed region in the world. I mean, Africa has not less than 40% of the world's remaining resources, particularly those mineral resources required for energy transitions, but also we have the population size, which is a major consumer market waiting, and not less than 40% of the world's remaining arable land to feed the world. So the continent is still very important. And Ghana, significantly, is also minerals rich, resource rich. So we need to create the relationships that inure to our benefit. How do we partner with foreign direct investment and local enterprise to create a very conducive business environment?
That was Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant. Now, the Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, has announced that the government has approved the delivery of 4G and 5G services to speed up broadband connectivity to all parts of the country. The minister, who stated that the government is working on regulation requirements, is geared towards cutting down the cost of internet connectivity in the country. Esla Owusu-Ekufo was speaking at the African Peering and Interconnection Forum in Accra. The forum is an event that gathers industry experts, stakeholders from across the African continent and beyond to share on topics that are vital to the growth and development of the digital landscape in Africa.
Now I'm happy to announce, and you're the first to hear this, that building on this rural telephony project model, approval has just been granted for the establishment of a neutral shared infrastructure company delivering nationwide 4G and exclusive 5G services in Ghana by a consortium of existing network operators and private investors. I'm excited at the opportunity this will provide for scaling up access to affordable high-speed broadband internet services nationwide for all network operators, ISPs, mobile virtual network operators as well, to either set up shop or expand their operations. I'm told that high-speed broadband connectivity is only available to about 10% of internet users in this country. With this, we're hoping to treble the access, high-speed broadband access across the country.
That was Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Esla Owusu Ekufo. Now, MasterCard Ghana has emphasized the significance of partnerships and collaborations to enhance financial inclusion and provide the necessary tools for individuals and businesses to succeed in the digital era. The global technology company highlighted this at the Ghana FinTech Day event in Accra, which was organized by MasterCard and various stakeholders to explore the future payments and the role of fintechs in aligning technologies and industries. Fintech refers to digital tools that facilitate financial activities. Country Director for MasterCard Ghana, Bosman Kwapon, shared insights with Citi News.
When we sort of started thinking about how do we bring our products and solutions to the last consumer, the reality was that fintechs has become an important player in the whole ecosystem. And therefore, we needed to engage them with a number of objectives in mind. One was avail our products and solutions to them so that they are aware of them. But more importantly, how do we create feedback, so a feedback session that enables us to get some feedback from them and also sort of understand the issues that they are facing, which will enable us to support them better, but also create partnerships that enable us to co-create for the Ghanaian market and also develop solutions together. So that is the whole essence of this engagement. But at the end of the day, what we are believing would have achieved is, one, get them to understand our products and solutions, and also find a way of creating new partnerships that we can develop together.
That was Country Director for MasterCard Ghana, Bosman Kwapon, ending Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akosia Otre. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Tonight on Point Blank, we bring you an interview with MPP Member of Parliament for Subin, the Honorable Eugene Boachi Entry, conducted by my colleague Hansen Ajiman. The MP has warned that the actions of some of his colleagues who have thrown their weight behind some of the candidates in the MPP's primaries may plunge the party into disunity. Ahead of the special delegates conference this Saturday, the legislature stressed the need for delegates to put the interests of the party first. Let's listen to him.
By the end of Saturday, 5 persons who are vying to lead the NPP into the 2024 polls will have no right to hold themselves as aspirants because the super delegates will have then voted to whittle the numbers down to 5. But before that, there have been conversations as to how this whole process can be credible and for the party to get a candidate that can help break the 8. We've come to meet with Member of Parliament for Subin, Eugene Boachi MP, who has been making some comments with the process and want to know how he's been taking the measures that have been instigated or put in place by the Elections Committee for this process. You're welcome to Citi TV.
Thank you.
From where you sit, how ready is the party for Saturday?
I think by all indications, the party is ready. And barring any last-minute hitches, the elections will come off on Saturday as scheduled. And we expect that, like you rightly said, latest by 7 p.m., 8 p.m. thereabout, the Electoral Commission will declare the 5 aspirants who have been duly elected to move to the next stage of the process. You know, it's a dual process. We do the super delegates, that's whittling the number to 5, if it's more than 5, and beyond that, they don't have the time to then tour the country and meet the wider delegates and, you know, put their campaign messages to them. So, I think all in all, the party is in a good shape, and we are looking forward to Saturday.
Let's cut to the chase. Before this, the issue was whether to hold a centralized or a decentralized poll at the regional level or a centralized poll at the national level. I mean, that aspect of it essentially have not been agreed to. Do you think that is still an issue?
Well, I am very indifferent in terms of having a centralized or decentralized. I mean, it's water under the bridge now. But I think going forward, these are some constitutional amendments that the party can consider to support such elections in future. The centralized venue has its own advantages, and I am swayed by that argument that we don't have the old Congress. The last time we had a Congress was in 2007, where we all congregated in one space. That was the election that brought Nana Akufo-Addo into the leadership of the party. Then, beyond that, we've always had this constituency, you know, where a situation where all the constituency vote at their chosen locations and stuff. So the centralized one, in my view, would have brought the 956 people to a centralized point. It would have enhanced the cohesion and unity of the party. It would have also sped up the process. A situation where in certain regions you have 30 delegates, 28 delegates here and there. We would have come together to make that 956 and voted, and the results declared there and then. But be that as may, that didn't happen. The National Council is the body charged with the conduct of these elections. They held that we should hold it on a regional basis like we did in 2014. So that is where we are.
Would this, in your view, mar the beauty of the polls in any way on Saturday?
In terms of marring the polls, I'm not too sure. But like I said, the point remains, or the fact remains, that having a centralized system of voting for the
superdelegates would have been the preferred option, because you brought, the party was going to bring all these 156 delegates to a central point where we can then get a chance to interact and bond and what have you. But that didn't happen. We've moved on.
Isn't that also a waste of money?
Well, I think you have to put that question to the National Council. I do agree with you, because, well, they also will say that you're also going to bring in people from far places like Bogatanga, and what have you, to come to Accra to vote and go back. So the pros and cons of that debate will have to be tested, really, after this election.
So you think that the idea of whether a centralized Congress should be held for superdelegates shouldn't end after this polls, the debate of it?
Oh yes. Well, I think all the 10 contestants did not oppose it. I was at National Council, and Mr. Kwabre Japon, our former General Secretary, spoke to it and said that he contacted all of them, including the Vice President. And the Vice President said, well, he's not against it, but he's only going to go by the wish of the party or the decision of the party. So essentially, that all the 10 of them agreed, did not oppose to it, did not oppose it. But the National Council held that we are going to do it on a regional basis. A decision has been taken, we move on. But going forward, we have to look at amending that portion of the Constitution to bring these 956 people to a centralized location in future to enhance the cohesion, the readiness, and the unity of the party for 2024.
Beyond your cohesion argument, there was the fear of intimidation at the regional level, that 30 delegates could be easily intimidated. Did you also harbor that same fear?
Sometimes I wonder why people think that people can be intimidated. Was I'm here to be intimidated at an election?
You're an MP.
Yes, because at the end of the day, people will go into the booth and do their own thing and come out of the booth.
A constituency chairman who perhaps looks up to the MP, or who perhaps looks up to the regional chairman, who can be easily swayed by these people.
No, but that you can't help. We all have relationships. I'm an MP from Ashanti region. I know virtually all the constituency chairmen. I know virtually all of them, because I've worked with them inside the party, and I know them. Some of them are friends. Some of them have even become more closer than relatives. You understand? So if
intimidation is not possible, or it's something that you cannot cure.
Who is really going to do the intimidation? Are you going to prevent me from voting?
The argument was that you're going to whip them in line.
Oh well, but are you going to whip the person in line to go into the booth and vote for your choice? The Electoral Commission would take charge of the process, and once they take charge, in elections, those voting areas are security zones.
So the fear of the intimidation actually was needless.
Well, I don't know who is going to intimidate who, but it's one party. We are going to select 5 people, and where is the intimidation going to come from?
I guess you followed the measures that have come from the elections committee following these concerns of intimidation, i.e., you cannot send your mobile phone to the voting booth, particularly as a member of
handbags. They're not allowed to take it. You see, when you are going to vote in an election, even to declare your vote or to show your vote to somebody publicly, it's a violation of the law, and that vote can be nullified. Yes, it's a violation of the law, because a vote
is a secrecy of vote
in the Constitution. A vote, everybody's vote is secret.
So I have a right to keep my vote secret, but I'm not entangled to keep it secret. I can come out and tell who I voted for.
Then yes, you can come out and say, look, I voted A, but I don't have to show it to anybody. You understand? The fact that you are saying you voted for me doesn't mean it's true that you voted for me. But you probably will tell me I voted for you. That's elections for you. But the fact of the matter remains that by showing your vote openly to anybody, you have violated the laws of the country. Both the Constitution and the electoral laws, the Political Parties Act. Because your vote is supposed to be secret. Right? So I'm sure all these have been part of the discussions between the main stakeholders, that's the aspirants, the Electoral Commission, the security agencies, about ensuring that the EC will take charge of these elections. Everybody going there, whether you are a national chairman, whether you are a regional chairman, whether you are a president, whether you are a vice president, whether you are a minister for defense, whether you are an MP, whether you are a consulting chairman, you are going to go there to vote as a delegate. You do not control the process.
As an MP, you will not be allowed to send your personal guard close to the voting place. Are you concerned?
I'm not concerned. I'm just going to vote. What's my police protection officer coming along for? I'm just going to vote. So you can wait for me. I'll go and cast my vote and come out. Yes, and I believe that these things have been done for a reason. The alphanumeric serialized numbers that they've introduced, and what have you, the printing is ongoing, all the agents are there, ensuring that the right things are done. The EC is fully compliant with what has been agreed at these meetings and what have you. So I think all said and done, we're going to have a very peaceful and successful election.
Now, on Saturday, what should Ghanaians expect? And also, what if you have any word to say to delegates on what they should be looking out for on Saturday, what would they be?
I think I would like to make reference to what the president said a 2 weeks ago, that this party has a spirit, and that spirit cannot be ignored. So what I have witnessed with all MPP elections, that you clearly see on the eve of the elections who the clear front runners are, or who the clear front runner is. Yes, there are, as for the hanky.
Nothing like silent majority.
Oh, there is. When it comes to MPP, there is a large hinterland of silent majority. They determine elections. They swayed it for Kufuor in 2007. And I kept telling him, there was a candidate. He said, Nana, the silent majority in this party will vote for you. Right?
So it doesn't matter who is getting the following, who is getting the endorsement.
The party has a spirit. And that spirit will be at play on Saturday. You will see. You come back and tell me you saw it.
We've seen a clamor for the various persons who form the super delegates. This person says, I hold the MPs. This person says, I hold the party executives. Who are you with?
Well, how can anybody say they hold anybody? Because nobody has called me, and nobody will dare call me and tell me which way to vote. Yes, I'll go there and make a decision in the supreme interest of my party and the country. That's the decision. That's the only decision that I'll be guided by. That's the only principle guiding me for this election. I'll go there. One, I'm voting for an MPP candidate who will be marketable to good people of this country to break the 8.
Are you supporting any of the candidates?
Like I said, my vote is my secret, so I don't have to. And I'm dead against those who are openly declaring.
I mean, there are a number of your colleagues. The majority whip Frank Anodompre, he's with Baumia. Your colleague at fair enough, but I mean these are your colleagues. Your colleagues. Their names are out there already. People know. They are supporting the candidates.
The fact that they are doing what they are doing is wrong.
What's wrong with that?
It's wrong because, you see, after all said and done, you need the cohesion and the unity of the party to break the 8. So in case the one you are supporting today or the one you have declared for doesn't win, what will be the case? We saw it in 2007. Where in December, Nana Akufo-Addo won. It took him months to bring people on board. In the end, we went to that 2008 elections and lost to about 40,000 votes to Professor Mills.
You think that...
Do we want a replay of that?
You think that persons like that engaging in acts of endorsement or active campaigning can help the break the 8 agenda?
Well, I doubt it, because if you look, John Boadu, when he was a general secretary, came out with a code of conduct for everybody. And that was from police station all the way up. That paper is worth nothing to write home about. But virtually every single provision in that code of conduct has been broken by people who want to know better. You understand? And that is my fear, because I've seen it all. I was Nana Akufo-Addo's polling agent in 2007 in Legon. So all these skirmishes going on, all these declarations going on, I'm scared for the party. Because you may not get your wish. Then what happens?
But you see, the 10 candidates who are contesting, if I can safely put it, know better and have experienced this, but they are equally clamoring for these endorsements.
Well, like I said, nobody has approached me to endorse anybody. But my view is that I always look beyond the elections. I'm not looking at it. Whatever happens, somebody will be selected or somebody will be elected. But beyond that, what do you do? And then I keep referring you to, the things that happened in 2007, 2008, where Nana Addo the president now, had to get everybody on board, had to convince everybody to come on board. And is that what we are really looking for? In the end.
Do you think that is where the ship is heading towards?
Well, I have a deep sense of foreboding. I will tell you that. Because I've seen it. And it's happening again. Nothing has changed. Even in those days, there were not many endorsements as today. But even look at what happened. 17 aspirants. 1-1. You had to spend 2-3 months bringing everybody on board. Look at the time we took Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the running mate to endorse, to show him to Ghanaians in Secondary. That was in August. Right? We went to the elections in December, we lost. Is that what we are looking at again?
From the onset, from the polling station reorganization all the way to the national level, the commentary that we've heard was we want to avoid what happened in 2007.
Like I said, politicians don't learn. We don't learn. That's our problem. If you do the same thing 100 times, you get the same results. Haven't you heard about that? If you do the same thing 100 times, the results won't change. So my fear is that let's get everybody on board. Let's try and have a united front. So that it's easy for me to pick up a phone and call my colleague or call somebody and say, look, come on, let's go and support this. You understand? But sometimes if you look at the way we are, some of us are tearing ourselves apart. For what?
You are not the leading MPs in Parliament. Have you brought this to the attention of your leadership or even to the leadership?
I've said it everywhere. That my worry, my main concern is that it will be difficult to unite the party. Even Honorable Kennedy Japon has said it. That the way people are going after him and trying to sabotage his campaign and all that, he will never understand the word reconciliation after these elections. He said it. You understand? Is that a good thing to come out of a contestant? Well, nowadays, whoever wins, you need to bring all of them on board. Because each one of them will get something on Saturday. So that means they have a degree of support in the party. Understand? So the most important thing is that after the elections, whoever emerges can pick up a phone and call the losers to a round table, have a meal with them, and discuss the way forward. That's the way it's supposed to be. You understand?
Yeah, that won't happen.
Well, I mean, when I hear some of the messages, when I watch some of the videos, when I hear some of the rantings, like I said, I have a deep sense of foreboding.
Well, the president, at a point in time, I mean, there were words around that some persons were being whipped in line. The president came out to give a comment that he would never do that, and he has never done that. From what you said, are these words of the president to be taken just as he has said them?
Well, I keep saying that we have a history. In 2007, the then President Kufuor, said that he was not supporting anybody. On the eve of the elections, I was with then candidate Kufuor in his office in Odo Rise, where he granted an interview to Top Story, that's Joy News, where he talked about the perceived establishment interference. So what was that coming from? These are strong words. That means that the establishment was supporting somebody. So we've been there. Do you think, in all honesty, the president, with all his powers, can mount a podium and say, I support A publicly? He cannot do it.
So are you saying that...
Because he'll be splitting the party right there on the middle. So he cannot do it. But we know that he's a delegate. He's going to vote.
Just this,
No, bear with me. We are politicians. So to me, that's political gimmickry. Let's put it to one side. The president obviously is supporting somebody. And if you are supporting somebody as a president, you have the resources, you give that person to go and win. You're not just going to open your mouth and say, oh, call 2 or 3 people and say, go and invite. And let me also ask you, if the president invited all his cabinet ministers and told them to go and vote for candidate B, do you think they'll come and tell you that the president has called us to go and vote for A or B? They'll tell you that. So this all political gimmickry, let's put it to one side. let's deal with the facts. The president, because he's voting on the day, if the president says, I'm staying, I'm not voting, then we can then begin to then bring certain things into the equation. But so long as it stands, that the president will be back, here he's in South Africa, he'll be back to cast his vote on Saturday. Who is he going to vote for? He's not going to vote for somebody.
So definitely he's supporting somebody, you think?
You know the interesting thing? The president has 3 campaign managers in this race. Kobre Japan, 1998. Apreku, 2008. Kobre Japan, 2012. They are all contesting. And he has his vice president contesting. And the president is telling us, really, that he's not supporting anybody. Please.
But just like you say your vote is your secrecy. You won't declare who you are supporting.
So let's accord the president that his vote is a secret. But obviously he's supporting somebody. And as president, when you're supporting somebody...
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. That's his preference. But like I'm saying, we must call a spade and say that the president obviously has his preference.
You heard Eugene Boachin-Entry, Member of Parliament for Subin, speaking there with my colleague Hansen Ajima, discussing matters of the party ahead of the party's Super Delegates Conference on Saturday. This is our show for tonight. Show produced by Nana Kobna-Welson, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafi. Earlier you heard Akosia Ochri. Production assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Social media by Edwin Kwakofi. My name is Salom Adunu. Catch you same time tomorrow. Have a good evening.